Hey everyone, welcome back to TK's Tech Talk. I'm TK and this is TTKK, or better known as the Trusty Kitchen Knife. And we are back for another unboxing video, this time of this battery pack, which is a Samsung super fast charging 25 watt capable dual port power delivery power bank or battery pack, depending on what you're used to calling it. So I've got three other power banks here which I want to compare this to. I unfortunately don't have an amp meter or voltmeter to be able to compare the effective wattages, but what I will do in this video is explain what is the difference between a 15 watt or an 18 watt or a 10 watt charger and how the different ports affect that and the different technologies that are required to make certain things happen, like this 25 watt fast charging, or like in the iPhone, the 20 watts. What makes that work? So let's put these to the side for now. And this is the star of the show for today, at least, or the one that we're going to be comparing the other power banks to. So this is the Samsung 25 watt super fast charging power bank, and it has two ports. So it has a USB-C port for power delivery and also a USB type A port. So you can charge two devices at the same time, and you can also charge the power bank via power delivery using the USB-C port to get it charged up quite quickly. So we'll talk about this later, but for now, let's just talk about some of the ratings on the back of this box. So a lot of these things won't make too much sense to most people. We're just going to quickly go over it so you have an idea of what the numbers sort of mean. So first thing we need to understand here is super fast charging, PD 3.0 PPS up to 25 watt. So what does all of that mean? PD is power delivery. 3.0 is the revision, so power delivery version 3.0. Then we have PPS. So we're using power delivery with PPS. So PPS is programmable power supply. This allows for varying volts and amps. And it allows like a smart way of doing it so that we can get to different wattages up to, in this case, 25 watts. So if you were to use this to charge a iPhone, for example, because iPhone also uses power delivery with PPS, you should theoretically be able to charge it at 20 watts using this power bank. I've seen reports of running around 18 or 17 watts. So it's pretty good. So then it also has apparently quick charge capability, and just want to quickly go through some of these points here. If you can see them, let's try and zoom in. There we go. So it talks about all of the supported, so for input, that means input means to charge the power bank. It supports 5 volt 3 amps, which is 15 watts charging, 9 volt 2.77 amp, which I believe is 20 watts or 25 watts. And then we have 12 volts 2.1 amps, which is also 25 watts. So the different ways to get to that 25 watt figure. And in this case, we have 9 volt 2.77 amps and 12 volts 2.1 amps. Now for the output, there's many different configurations, as you can see. Usually you'd find common ones in, you can see the top one is power delivery port and the bottom one is the USB-A port. Usually the USB-A port maxes out at 18 amps. And the way we get to 18 amps usually is 9 volts 2 amps, right? And that is the usual way of getting to 18 watts. So on the power delivery, obviously we have the similar as above for charging the power bank and also for charging devices. And here you can see the varying voltage, right? And this is the important thing about PPS. This is what allows PPS to be so flexible with different device types. So though it might be only up to 25 watts, we have to remember that it is combined. So it talks about here having a combined voltage and ampage of 5 volts, 5 amps. As an example for charging at 25 watts. So that means that the two ports together, the USB-A and the USB-C, can only output a maximum of 25 watts. So if you only use the USB-C to charge your Samsung phone, for example, you can attain 25 watts. If you want to charge two phones at the same time, if one is using 15 watts, the other one would only charge at 10 watts, or maybe 12 and 12, depending on what devices you're using, that will vary. So that's just to cover the blurb and to give you a better understanding about what all of this stuff means and how you can go about choosing a power bank for your device. Right, with all of that said, let's open it up. Let's get the trusty kitchen knife back into the picture and cut away. So if anybody in the UAE, this is on a great deal at the moment for 69 dirham, which is around 14 pounds. Not sure what that is in dollars at the moment, but there you go. 69 dirhams is really good price for this. I'm not sure if it's across the country. Right, so inside we have the power bank. And I believe there should be a cable in here somewhere. So you get this nice tiny USB-C to C cable. Those are handy when obviously if you've got it on your desk or something, or if you're carrying it around, you don't want to have a massive cable. It does help. So let's take this out, and it feels quite nice. It's a metal casing as opposed to some of these chargers that we've got over here. And I'll come back to those in a moment. So there's the 10,000 milliamps, and it says super fast charging. Now super fast charging, remember, is what Samsung calls 25 watt charging. For anybody who's thinking, well, hold on, what about 45 watt? That's super fast charging 2.0. There you go. It's confusing, but it's there. So there's not much on the back of the front. There's some branding. It's a very nice finish and feel, very flat. I'll get my phone in a moment so you can see it with the phone. Let me zoom out just a touch so you can see all of it clearly. And then at the top, like I said, let's see if it's got any charge. If I press this, it should show me, okay, there we go. We've got 2 bars at the moment. There's your USB Type-C port, and there's your USB-A port. So remember, the USB-C can be used to charge it as well as charge devices. And you can use 2 devices at the same time. Obviously, you will be maxing out at 25 watts. But for anybody who's going to be charging one Samsung phone at a time, if that is the use case for your power bank, then you will be able to attain that 25 watt charging speed. And don't bother going for the 45 watt power banks and adapters. They really do not add much benefit, especially at the cost for the Samsung devices, because we've seen reports that the 45 and 25 watt to get from 0 to 100 is almost exactly the same time. So it looks more like a marketing scam than anything else, to be honest. But right, let me get my phone and we can check to make sure that it does indeed charge at 25 watts. Okay, so I've got my Samsung Galaxy S20 FE here and Z Fold 3 here. They're both capable of 25 watt charging. Now before I go and plug this Samsung power bank in, I'm just going to show you what happens if I connect one of the other power banks, like this Tecknet one with a USB-A cable, right? And I'm going to connect it and see what it says when I plug it in. Like, you know, if it's fast charging, it should say fast charging on the screen. If it doesn't support fast charging, it would just say charging. So this one is actually just saying charging. It's reconnected. Okay, it's reconnected. It said now fast charging, and it is 33 minutes until full, right? So that can do fast charging on the USB-A port, which I believe would mean 15 watts or something like that. And on the Z Fold 3, the same thing, it says fast charging, right? Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means 15 watts. I don't know if it means 10 watts. And I don't know if it means 18 watts. Because theoretically, anything faster than 5 watts is fast charging. So we could just, let's just assume for now, it's doing at least 15 or 18, because we know that the USB-A port can provide 5 volts, 3 amps, or 9 volts, 2 amps, or 5 volts, 2 amps. So it has to be at least 10 to 18 watts as a maximum. Now let's try and plug this one, which has power delivery, with the USB-C cable, and let's see what happens. And I've noticed interesting things with this in the past, so I just want to see what it does now. Now it only says charging. Strange. And let's plug it into here and see what happens. Again, also it just says charging. So this one says, oh, that switch between fast charging and charging there. Can't make its mind up. No, it just says charging now. So it's really weird. Like, for some strange, maybe it's the cable, I'm not sure. We'll find out in a moment. We're going to try it again. So basically you've seen now that different ports affect charging in different ways depending on the device that you're using. So in this case, this USB-C cable, maybe it's the cable. I don't have another one test to hand right now. But let's just check what happens if I plug the same USB-C cable into the Samsung power bank. We'll find out if the cable is bad or not. So I have actually got the new cable here. I just remembered that came with it. I haven't taken that out yet. So let's plug this in and see what we get. Straight away, super fast charging. We've saved 7 minutes, guys. I think it was 41 before, now it shows 34. And indeed, if you can read that, I'm not sure if you can. Let me try and zoom into it so you can see it. Super fast charging, right? So it works with that one. So it's definitely not the cable. It's definitely something to do with the power profiles and how they're used across different devices. So you can see that you know, there is definitely some difference there. And let's just make sure also on the Fold 3 we get a similar result. Yeah, straight away. So if you can see that, oh, let's double tap, show it to you. Super fast charging, 18 minutes until full. So in both, and I think that was 28 minutes before. So there we have it. It really does work. Okay, it does have fast charging. And as a size comparison with other power banks, like one I've been using for a while, here's the Tecknet one, it really isn't very much difference in size. Now, I bought this one about 2 or 3, I think 3 years ago now, for about £13, I think it was, 12 or 13 pounds. So it served well. It really does charge everything fine. But this one, I picked up for around £14. And it's a metal construction, this is plastic. It's definitely slimmer, even though it is ever so slightly taller, which I don't think is going to make a big difference. And then it has that massive advantage of charging other Samsung phones, super fast charging, 25 watts. And that is a really great feature to have, because there's very few power banks at this price especially that will allow you to do that. Now obviously if you pay the original 35 or 40 pounds for it, I would definitely recommend looking at other ones that are available that do provide power delivery with PPS that will help you attain that 25 watts anyway. So obviously if you get it at a price like I'm paying now, it's definitely worth it. And the fact that we can charge this power bank with a 25 watt Samsung charger or any other charger that supports power delivery PPS at 25 watts, I'm assuming this is going to charge really quickly. So I will try and do that and report back. Okay, so let's have a quick look at these other couple of power banks so I can talk about slight differences in all of them. So I have 3 Samsung power banks here. This one here on the left, I got this last year sometime, I think it was, maybe a year and a half ago. And this one allows wireless fast charging. Now, again, wireless fast charging is a whole different ball game, and let's not get into all of that as well. But basically, I think this allows, because remember 5 watts is charging, anything above that, everyone considers fast charging, at least in the wireless game. So that I think does 7.5 watts, or I'm sure it's 7.5 watts of wireless charging. Does it say? It doesn't say on the back. And then we have the similar setup at the top as this one, and it's a bit slimmer, a bit narrower, sorry, but thickness is about the same. It's got a nice rubber feel here for holding your phone. So if you put your phone on top, for example, like this, there you go, it's charging, as you can see. Oh, it's fast wireless charging, there you go, it shows up. Right, so that's that. And on this power bank, unfortunately, this USB-C is only used to charge the power bank. And I believe that was at 15 watts, right? The USB-A port obviously only can give a maximum of 18 watts, but I believe on this configuration it gives about 15 watts if I remember correctly. So there's your limitations. This allows you to charge the power bank with USB-C, and I'm just going to demonstrate it to you right now in case you have been wondering, if you've been looking for this power bank, that if I plug this in, at least I hope they haven't changed it, but I don't believe it will charge, right? It's showing me that this is charging the power bank. Or it's got some issues, but it clearly is not charging the phone, right? So you can see that right there. There's some problem there. It's not doing anything. So this is not a power delivery port from what I understand. This is just a standard USB port, but it's in the form of a USB-C port, right? That's why it's like that. So at least it provides the wireless charging. It's very convenient. I use this a lot for travel because you can just put it on your bedside table wherever you are and it will charge wirelessly, and then overnight it will be charged and you can charge the power bank during the day when you're out. This power bank here is a very old Samsung power bank. It's about 3 years old, I think now. And is there any charge in here? Unfortunately, it's not charged, but here you can see a very ancient setup. Micro USB to charge the power bank, and USB-A, I believe that's a 5 volt, so it's just 10 watts, 5 volts, 2 amps to charge your device. Now it is very slick. If you compare it to this new one, they still look very similar in size. They're both 10,000 milliamps, very similar design, but this is plastic, very cheap plastic. You may or may not believe this, I bought this on Amazon for about £3 about 3 years ago. And you know, for some things it does fine. There is one problem with this. The biggest problem is this micro USB port. I think it takes about 10 hours to charge this. It's very slow. This one charges a bit quicker. I think it takes about 6 hours to charge this one. And this one here on the right, this is by a company called Tecknet. This one charges in about 4 or 5 hours because of that power delivery port. So that's the difference between these 3 older ones here. This one supports power delivery. And because it supports power delivery on that USB-C port, and I think you can charge with the micro USB port as well, this one is much better for charging than these other 2. And this is only about 12 or 13 or 14 pounds on Amazon in the UK. And you can see the ratings here for what it can and cannot do. But basically just look for Tecknet 10,000 watt power bank, and I'm just going to show you quickly here. The micro USB input is 5 volt 2 amps or 9 volt 2 amps, so it can actually charge at 10 watts or 18 watts. And then we have a type C input of also 9 volts and 2 amps. So this can charge at 18 watts. It's already very quick. This one now, because of the input specification on the box, it allows us to charge at 25 watts. That's almost 50% faster, in theory at least, than this one. So this would be amazing if you're in a hurry to get somewhere, or if you're in the car, you want to charge your power bank on the way in your car, and you have a 25 watt charger in your car. You can essentially charge this in, I believe, 2.5 hours. I'll try and test that, but I believe it's about 2.5 hours. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope that this information was beneficial and that you gained something from it. I hope that it helps you understand the difference in the power delivery, PPS, and standard charging or quick charging. So quick charging is one I forgot to mention. I'll just quickly talk about it. So quick charging is what was developed by Qualcomm, and you will see a lot of chargers up to quick charge 4.0, and I believe quick charge can get you like 27 watts on a normal USB-A port. Of course, your device has to support it, but typically we will only see like 18 watts on USB-A ports, and as everything moves towards power delivery, I believe even quick charge 4 Plus is now using power delivery to get the faster charging. And then things like the VOC and Warp Charge on OnePlus, Oppo, and other companies, and Huawei's, I forgot what their one is called, and Xiaomi's one, they use slightly different technology, so it's not necessarily the same as power delivery with PPS. So you may not get those 33 watt and 50 watt charging speeds when using power delivery with PPS on those devices. However, one thing we need to remember is most phones, whether it be an iPhone, whether it be an Android, whether it be a Samsung, Oppo, OnePlus, or whatever, you are more than likely to be able to get that 10, 15, and 18 watts, irrespective, with all of these power banks. And that would essentially charge your devices. In my opinion, 18 watts is more than enough. I actually use a 10 watt wireless charger to charge my phone by my bedside every night, and that's it. In the car, I use a normal charger, and that's basically good enough for me. I just thought it was nice to be able to charge this power bank in such a short amount of time in case you're running low on time, and that it can also charge at 25 watts if required, if you need to be charging for some reason fast. So because it was a good price, I bought it. It gave me a chance to talk about these items and to help you understand more about these power banks and how they work. So thanks for watching. Please do feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.